Been a while. Been a long time, huh? Been I don't know, a couple months since we did this. All because you are a horrible audience. No, I'm kidding. As we're super yellow tonight. I don't know. Maybe that's better. I don't know. Warm feelings. Let's go with that. So, yeah, we haven't done a podcast in a while. Welcome back. Um, okay to be here. We did. What the hell happened? Been 2 months in LA. Yeah, just about. Uh, yeah, I did 2 months in LA, and the reason we didn't do podcast was there's a couple reasons. A, we didn't quite have all of the equipment ready to go. B, I didn't care enough to get all the equipment ready to go. Which nope. And then C, I was doing other stuff. Sorry. Oh, and D, the biggest part of the story. Like I don't know, the third day I was there, maybe fourth day, Higgins decided to try and kill me and body slammed me and like shattered all the ribs on my left side. Okay, so yeah, I didn't do a lot for the first month. Oh, it was super bad. Like I had to sleep on the couch sitting up because could not move from that position, and it was all because he bit me. And he'll come and defend himself. I feel like we have to talk about this. But he bit me. I put him in a headlock. He thought he was going to die, so he tried to murder me. All seems a little too convenient, if you ask me. But he will definitely be on to defend his case of being a less than questionable friend and trying to murder me. But no, again, no hard feelings. I'm not like mad at him. Okay. Things got out of hand. Alcohol was involved. Shit happens. We're good. I mean, I'll get him back. I just can't decide which leg of his to chop off and make him wear a prosthetic for the. But yeah, hopefully Higgins will be on Thursday, and it's really going to depend when the Lakers play. So it probably won't be Thursday. And we'll get into all that. But yeah, I just hung out there for a while. We don't have a great setup for there, which I'm working on. Okay, I'm working on getting the setup out there, and also, I mean, we were doing a whole bunch of stuff that just wasn't conducive, and like we planned it like, well, let's do one tonight, and then we ended up barbecuing and fucking around, so it didn't happen, and I'm sorry. If I'm out there on a more permanent basis or less than permanent, I'll make sure that stuff happens. Like the gaming didn't happen because we didn't have the right hardware that I was told was out there. Again, won't get into that. I had a good time out there. I'll probably go back soon. We're gonna have some people are gonna have to make some changes though, like to get hardware because I can't pack computers out there. I bring enough shit when I. But man, in true form, let's get back to podcast stuff and let's talk about. Tonight's gonna be a lot about sports and a lot about politics. That's just the way it's gonna work. And I know I've missed a lot, and I'll probably touch back on things that happened weeks ago, but I need to say my piece on some of this. First of all, let's talk about the Avalanche. They were eliminated last night by the Seattle Kraken, an expansion team. Um, I I mean, I have a lot to say about that, but it can pretty much be summed up to Georgiev is arguably the worst goalie in hockey. Um, anyone but our first line defense is horrible. And at times it seemed like they had given up. And I've thought about this for a while, and I know that it seemed like they've given up, but I now know what it is. You're in luck. I'll tell you all about it. So the Avs lost in the first round to the Seattle Kraken. They were the number one seed in the Central, and they should not have lost. They should have swept them, and they should have won the Stanley Cup again. But the Avalanche had a lot of weird stuff happen this year. A lot of really big injuries that took longer than they should have to heal, or we just weren't told everything. A lot of weird stuff like Nick Pushkin going off with a drunk hooker and involving the team doctor. Still don't know about that. So we're all going to talk about this. Let's start at the beginning. The captain Landeskog. The man had knee surgery at the beginning of the season. And people asked, why didn't you have it earlier than that, like during the off season? And the excuse was, well, I didn't know I needed it until I got out and played. Part of me says, okay. Part of me says, well, couldn't have done that in the off season. You couldn't have figured that out in the off season. And then people will be like, well, the NHL is different. You're right. All right, I'll give you that. Let's talk about how he didn't come back. Like in January, when we knew he wasn't going to come back. Well, the Avs knew he wasn't going to come back. And we were all hoping he'd be there for the playoffs. And then after the trade deadline, before the playoffs, they're like, yeah, he's not coming back at all this year. So the smart thing would have been is to get another huge name in there to help that first line out. Or break the first line up with the second. I don't know, man. I think the front office and management handled that really poorly, not only with communication and communication. The NHL is so tough because they're like upper body injury. That could mean literally anything from the waist up. You could have a fractured skull and it's still upper body injury. You know, your leg could be snapped in 7 pieces and it's a lower body injury. So they're not, real forthcoming with information. I think they should be a little more forthcoming, especially to fans, especially to people who watch this and live and die with your team and pay an exorbitant amount of money because that piece of shit fucking Kroenke jacked the prices up for all the tickets coming up. Okay. So that was number one, kind of a big blow. Number 2 was a season-long problem with just injury after injury after injury to key players, which the Avs overcame and were able to still win the Central. So I'm not inclined to use that as an excuse as much as everyone else is. Third part, our goaltending. Georgiev is fucking terrible. I don't care what you say. I've put it all over Twitter, and I've had a bunch of stat nerds be like, well, his stats are stats. Let me tell you something about stats. That is the most meaningless shit in the world. There's literally only one stat that matters, and that's wins and losses. Okay? And it turns out that in the first series, the Avalanche had 3 wins and 4 losses, and that means they're fucking out. Okay? That's the only stat that matters. It's the only stat that will ever matter. Wins and losses. Okay? All you stat nerds don't actually watch the games. You just look up the stat sheet afterwards. Because if you watch the amount of times that Georgiev gave up a dagger goal, it's 0-0 in the third, and he just lets one go and kills the whole momentum of the team. Yeah. You didn't watch that because you're stats. Or did you watch him all season where he 99% of the time has no idea where the fucking puck is? No clue. He makes a stop. It bounces off his chest. He stays frozen right there. It bounced to his left. They shoot it and score. Did you watch that? Of course you didn't. Okay. Did you take into account that the Avalanche are still, and I don't care what you say about Boston, we'll talk about them in a minute, but that the Avalanche are the best team in hockey despite everything? Christ, could you imagine how many goals that fucking moron would have given up if he didn't have two, three, four of the best defensemen in the league? Maybe ever to play the game? No, you didn't that because you're a stat bitch. And you just send me stats. Watch the games, man. The guy's lost. The gypsy even watches it, and she doesn't even know hockey. And she notices that he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. So, yeah, he was a huge fucking liability. Okay. The guy was useless. We're going nowhere with him. And if he's on the team next year, I don't know, man. I'm not going to be a happy camper. Fuck him. Um, let's talk about some of the other things. Like the other night when I thought they quit, I was wrong. They didn't quit. They have a good, they have a portion, not a good portion. They have a portion of their teammates that were just along for the ride. Okay. That weren't willing to commit or contribute anything to a Stanley Cup run. They were just there hoping the other players would do it so they could get a ring. Sammy Gerard. That guy is fucking awful at his job. And I know you guys love him as fans because you'll be stat bitches and he's like the little engine that could. He is so bad at what he does. He needs to be off of this team immediately. Or on the Colorado Eagles. Okay. He gave up so many plays, missed so many things, playoffs more specifically, but throughout, he's a liability through and through. Okay. And I hate him beyond all fucking belief. Him and Gorgiev need to get the fuck out of Denver. You have a lot of other people who did not show up for the playoffs and were just there to skate their 15-minute game and hope that Rantanen and McKinnon would carry us through. Because Rantanen fucking carried us through the regular season. That man is a monster. He's what Kadri was last year. Okay? Um, there's a ton of it. Like I said, just weird injuries, prolonged injuries. Tushkin was great throughout the year. And then in the beginning of the playoffs, he randomly leaves the team, like packs his shit and leaves in the middle of the night. Nobody knew for days what was going on. And then it came out that, and again, this is unverified information. This is just what I've heard and pieced together on my own. Open marriage, random drunk Russian girl in his hotel room, team doctor. Okay? How the hell the three of them got together and got tossed out of a Seattle hotel, or the cops were, Seattle police too. So something went down and then he just fucking left. If he has a problem with alcohol, uh I hope he gets the help he needs. And I'm sorry it happened during the playoffs. But if he has a problem, I don't think he should have waited throughout the playoffs. He just should have addressed it immediately. But he doesn't need to be on the team next year. If someone else had a problem with alcohol that he was involved with, let's discuss that and get the whole story before we ditch him. I'm inclined to ditch him. Like, I love the man. All right. He carried us through that season with Rantanen. But, I mean, to fuck it all up in the middle of the playoffs, you're a liability now. So you're going to be with Gorgiev and Sammy good for nothing. Okay. And a lot of just idle players that were just there. I mean, I want to say, I can name all of them who just never took a shot and just passed to Rantanen or McKinnon, who were being double teamed. And it was a very bad plan or execution. Let's see. The refs. We can talk about them. It's, I mean, everyone likes to claim that they're like the victim, like, oh, bad call refs, but I mean, Denver is podunk, and they have always been a victim of the refs and an actual victim. Your team, if you're on the East or West Coast, your team doesn't know what bad referees are. Okay, they're in your guys' pocket, and you wouldn't know if it hit you in the fucking face. So I don't ever want to hear shit from you, but I will because you're dumb. But I mean, for instance, McKinnon had what I think was still a clean hockey hit. Okay, he got the 2 minutes for interference. Then he got a hearing and a 1 game suspension because McCann or whatever his dumb name is didn't come back that game. That's very important. Now, Elbrey or whatever his name is, who plays for Seattle, boarded Cogliano into the boards, which is boarding, like the most dangerous thing you can do in hockey. Broke his neck, and they didn't even have a hearing. Now the difference is Cogliano is a man and came back and he actually played in the game with a broken neck. And later, I think the trainer's like, dude, you got hit pretty hard. We gotta look into this. And they looked into it. He had a broken neck, so he was out. Okay, but the NHL didn't even have a hearing on that hit, much less a suspension. I mean, he got 2 minutes for boarding. It's things like that. Okay, and they're like, well, Embry's not a dirty player naturally, so they didn't feel the need. Neither's McKinnon. That guy's one of like the nicest, cleanest people in the world. That's another problem I have with Avalanche. They're all finesse. Like if someone starts hitting them and knocking them down and playing a little dirty and it's not called, they have no retaliation. It just throws them off their game and they're done. And the NHL lets them get away with it. So it's not about player safety. It's about getting the Avs out of the playoffs. Okay, and I mean horrible calls up and down, missed calls, things like that. That if you want to let them play, let them play, but let both teams play, not just let the Seattle run all over us and then call ticky tacky shit on us. But I mean, it happens. We're Colorado. It's like the Nuggets, and we'll talk about the Nuggets too. But I mean, their series, their first series, there were a couple games that like the other team had, 25, 30 free throws, and the Nuggets had like 5. Okay. Now, you can't tell me it's because the other team doesn't commit fouls. That's just not the way it works in the NBA. Everyone commit foul, every play, everything's a foul in the NBA. It's just they don't call it for Denver. And Denver has a 2-time MVP, the most recent 2-time MVP, not like 2-time MVP from 25 years ago or 15 years ago. I mean, like last year and the year before's most recent MVP, maybe a 3-time MVP this year. And that guy goes on the line like 3-4 times a game. When that little bitch Embry is up there at 20, 22 times a game at the line. You can't tell me that it's not biased officiating. And you don't have anything about your team other than your team lost to prove that. Like Boston lost because, I mean, the East Coast teams suck in all sport. Okay, the Eastern Conference in the NBA is a joke compared to the Western. The Western is so much better; it's not even funny. Same with hockey. Okay, well, Boston had the best record in the history of hockey. Well, they were out in the first. Okay, and I don't think it was the refs' fault. I think it's because they play shitty teams all year, and the refs, the NHL, ESPN, everybody wants to help them, so they have something to talk about on Monday morning or during the week. And then it just at a certain point you can only cheat so far. Like the Avs, like I thought the Avs were going to win last night. I mean, the Avs had 3 disallowed goals in that series, and while maybe last night's was offsides, it was like 25 seconds after the play. Like, how far can we go back and review plays? I mean, can we go back to the first and review shit when we're in the third? come on, man. I mean, if you miss offsides and it touches 50 sticks and we score, you can't review it 25, 30 seconds later. That's bullshit. You telling me you never miss an offsides for Seattle? Of course not. It's just, I don't know, Bednar didn't call it or they didn't score on it. Like, I don't know what it was. But we're absolutely getting hosed, and it's undeniable unless you're from the East or West. You're like, oh no, they're the same. Because you're a moron. You don't actually know sports. You just listen to ESPN and those fucking idiots. Nuggets. That's all I said. All right, last thing about the Avs. Good season, piss poor playoff showing. Even a bad season, piss poor playoffs. Too many injuries, too many pedestrians who are just, like on the bandwagon players. We're like, oh, I'll just join the team and win a Stanley Cup and not have to do anything. Bad management, things like that. We need to get rid of Gorgiev and Sammy G. Guys, Newhook needs to go. Let's dump some of these losers, okay? And let's get a team who wants to win. Let's get Landeskog back. If not, let's get somebody who can replace him. Nichushkin, let's check that out. Rodriguez, I used to hate, and now I'm more positive than I was about him. Let's keep him. Taves, I'll never say it, but that man doesn't do anything wrong. He may not score a lot of goals, but he doesn't have any turnovers, and he's not a piece of shit who loses the puck in our own zone 10 times, and then Gorgiev's lost in the clouds and gives up 7 goals in a game. Okay? So take your stats and shove them up your ass, and you dipshit. Watch a game. Okay. Nug Pups. The first series went about how I thought it would. I knew they were gonna have one bad game. That was game 4 where they couldn't sweep. But they came back and they destroyed. I mean, they're winning these games by like 30 points. Okay. I'm not an NBA fan. I'll be honest with you. I don't watch regular season at all, unless like I'm forced to or something. But playoffs I watch because it's playoffs and the Nuggets are in there, and they're the number 1 seed. So yeah, I'll watch that. Now they're playing the Suns. The first game they beat the brakes off of them. They're gonna play tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna watch that or stream games. I might play games and put the Nuggets on a TV. We'll see. But super enjoyable. Again, no help from the refs, but I think the Nuggets are, at least for the first series and this one, they're so good that what the refs do don't really matter. Or it doesn't really matter. They're trying to keep these other teams in there, but there's only so much they can do without it being like blatantly fucking obvious. Okay. We'll see. Tonight, I think will be another tell. If they blow them out again, I think this will be another 4 or 5 game series. And then we might play the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals because, I mean, I don't know, man. Lakers or Golden State. I think I don't know who I'd rather play. Golden State's better than the Lakers, but the Lakers are going to get all the calls. And that'll be a close enough series that the calls will matter. And Higgins is a Lakers fan, so I'd like to play them just so we can beat them and he can. Because when I was in LA, I've had to watch the Laker games too because of Higgins. And he won't admit this, but I'll try and get him to on Thursday. There was one time where the Lakers were on and the Avs were on at the same time. And we had planned to have them over for dinner for a couple days. And then like day of, he's like, I'm just gonna, do stuff and then I'm just gonna watch the game at home. Sorry. He didn't say sorry. And I knew what he wanted to say, and I wish he had said that because he was like, dude, I want to watch the Lakers and you're gonna watch the Avs, so I'm not coming over for that reason. because I would tell people that, like, I want to watch the Avalanche game. If you're not going to have it on, I'm not coming over. But his girlfriend made him, and it turns out that we got two TVs set up side by side, Avs on one game or on one TV, Lakers on the other, and it worked out well. Okay, both teams won that night. It was great. But for the future, Higgins, I want you to just tell me, be like, dude, I want to watch the Lakers or I'm not coming over. That's better than, oh, I'm just, gonna do my thing and then go home and one dunk sad. So yeah, I want to see the Lakers and Denver in the Western Conference Finals just because we're gonna bet big on this one. Like we're talking like kidney or fingers. Somebody's losing a finger on that game. That's serious. But yeah, the Nuggets are cool. I'm still, on board. I watch it when I can or feel like it or have nothing better to do, and we go from there. Let's see what else. Baseball season started. I haven't watched a whole game. I'm not doing the pitch clock thing. I've heard too many things, you know, of like I watched part of a game the other day, and all that was going on. A new batter comes up, and it's 1-0. It's like what the fuck happened? And it was a pitch clock violation, and no one knew or any. I'm not. No, I'm not doing that. Not watching it. I am not giving into this new age. Baseball takes too long. Fuck you. You're dumb, and you don't get the sport, and it's not meant for you. Um, but the Cardinals are doing terrible. They have horrible pitching. I think this is why you don't hire. They have horrible pitching. I think bad fielding. I mean, I've watched a couple highlights and maybe an inning or two where it's like 3 errors in an inning. Like, what are we doing, guys? And I know most of it is management. Like, management gives you the players, gives the manager the players to play. But I also don't think we should have hired a manager because Yachty wanted somebody from Puerto Rico when Yachty is gone now. Contreras is not as good as we were sold on. I could have told you that. Pitching's horrible. We had a starter the other day that went like 2 2/3 innings. Pathetic. They're in bad shape. My only confidence is that the Cardinals are a baseball town and they'll fix it next year, or maybe this year the trade deadline. I don't know. They got to fix something though, because right now they are fucking terrible. Um, they're not as bad as the Rockies. The Rockies they've given up already. They are holy shit. They are really fucking bad. But that is the story of the Rockies for 30 years. Now it would appear fans are starting to catch on and attendance is down. Um, so hopefully attendance falls further. Monfort sell the team and we get an owner who wants to win. Because I mean, we've proved that no matter what kind of garbage you put on that field for 25 years, we'll support you like nobody's business. But after that, then we start to fall off. So yeah, just maybe a change in scenery. Speaking of that, the new time clock thing has shortened games by like 20 minutes, I think, on average. Maybe 35. I can't remember. But I guess an unintended consequence is session sales, particularly beer, are down because, it used to be like after the 7th, no more beer sales. So the games is going quick enough that beer sales are way down. So, in the genius of the teams, they have decided to extend the beer sales. So now the game is quicker, but you can drink beer all the way into the 9th, and then you can leave that game wasted and get in your car and drive. So yeah, maybe your time clock wasn't that great of an idea, Manfred, you piece of shit. Let's see. Broncos, the draft happened this weekend, last weekend, whatever. Didn't watch it, don't care. I think the draft's the stupidest thing in the world to watch. Your mock draft is dumb. You're not part of an NFL team. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Your mock draft is a complete and utter waste of time and my attention. So fuck off. Even if you're on Mel Kiper on ESPN, fuck your mock draft. If you even knew what was going on, an NFL team would hire you for this. But you don't, because you're a dumbass. Secondly, I don't I'm not watching 4 days, 8 hours a day, and I know the first round is Thursday night or whatever. It's only the first, and it's prime time, and in Kansas City, and you had a bunch of Kansas City people up there doing dumb stuff. I'm not watching you announce names. I don't care one damn bit unless we have the first pick in the draft, and that's it. Because every other pick, including that one, doesn't matter until they perform in the NFL. That's again why your mock draft is stupid. Who cares where someone goes if they don't perform well? What's his face in San Francisco was the literally Mr. Irrelevant, like the last fucking pick in the NFL draft, and he got them all the way to playoffs. No one saw that coming. So you guys don't know shit about what you're talking about. Also, I don't care about the Broncos draft this year because I don't think we're gonna be any good. I don't. I think Russell Wilson is a complete and utter loser right now and a bust. He's not going to turn this team around. Jerry Jeudy and all those nerds are not going to help either. We got a couple years of rebuilding with Sean Payton and the new owners before we're even fucking relevant. Before we're even above 500. Yeah, I don't really care about the draft. Also, like I said, I don't need 4 days of you guys calling off people's names. I can check that stuff in about 3 minutes at the end of it. So if you watch the draft and you like it, you're a fucking loser. Sorry. Okay, let's switch gears and go on to more pressing matters. So while I was out in LA, and it was, you know, I think it was a week or so ago, maybe longer, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Bud Light decided to make that dude Dylan Mulvaney a spokesperson, and made that guy some can that was like celebrating his 300 or his year of womanhood. Um, and subsequently, Bud Light lost like 8, 9, $10 billion in like 20% sales. Um, Good. I'll be honest with you guys. I haven't bought Anheuser-Busch products or InBev products since that happened. I I'm not. Oh, I'll get to that. This will all be together. I'm not doing this thing. Okay. First of all, the, the marketing VP who apparently did this Dylan thing wanted to get rid of Bud Light's frat boy imp. Well, lady, let me tell you something. The only people that drink Bud Light are frat boys and rednecks, and they drink a fucking lot of it. They drink almost all of it. Okay? So, for you to want to get rid of that is dumb in itself. That's going to, alienate all the frat. Now, putting a dude on there dressed like a 12-year-old girl and prancing around like a fucking moron is going to alienate the redneck or the country folk or the blue, whatever you want to call it. Okay, people like me who just like, okay, you're going to alienate us. So you've alienated your entire consumer base to go woke, and now you're going broke. Like, this is one of the prime examples of go woke, go broke. Like 8, 9 billion in market cap is lost in 2 weeks. That's a big hit. I don't care how big your company. Um Now, where my issue is beyond the overarching, just like how fucking stupid can you be? I mean, you literally alienated your entire consumer base. Me specifically, I think that Dylan Mulvaney dude is a fucking joke. Okay? I mean, the guy prances around in girls' clothes and makeup like a fucking idiot. No woman I've ever met acts like that. Okay? He acts like a 12-year-old girl prancing around like a chicken with their head chopped off. Okay? I wouldn't pick that guy for any ad campaign. I mean, the White House did it, but they're fucking retarded enough. So yeah, I wouldn't do that generally. I also don't want Budweiser to have some KKK motherfucker up there. I want Budweiser to have the Clydesdales, the Frogs, Cedric the Entertainer, middle of the road people or animated animals, dogs, things like that. Random white guy, random Mexican, random black guy. Just stay in your lane, like, and just don't pick a side, you know? How hard is that? You did so well for so long. And then all of a sudden you come out of like left fucking field, way left field. Like, I don't even think that dude's a tranny. He's just a dude who dresses up like a chick and not even like an overzealous drag queen chick, just like a 13-year-old girl and bounces around like a moron. Who thought that was a good, well, we know who thought it was a good idea. They are now fired and their boss is fired. Some chick in the boss are fired. I'm not ready to come back yet. I want a sincere apology because they did release a couple statements that were just a bunch of word salad like nonsense. I want an actual we fucked up. That would I'll come back because I'll be honest with you guys. I bought Miller. Miller Lite is fucking bad. It tastes disgusting. And I'm sorry if you drink Miller Lite, but you have horrible taste. Probably drink IPAs too. It's not a good tasting beer. But at this point, my principles are more important than taste. Because I mean, that brings me to the next thing. I'm done with all this. I'm no longer just gonna like sit back and be like, well, yeah, I'm done with the trans shit and I'm done with the weird crap. Okay. And I'm not supporting it in any fucking way. And I will speak out against it whenever I can. Okay. Now I'm not gonna, just randomly say dumb crap on the internet. But I'm again the Dylan Mulvaney, that dude, I'm not putting up with him. I mean, he did a Nike ad. Like Nike's got him doing their women's sports line. And it's like a little anorexic dude in tights and a sports bra, literally flopping around like a fish out of water. I don't know how that's gonna sell shit to chicks, especially a sports bra. Like, as I understand a sports bra, it's supposed to keep your boobs in place when you're like jumping around and shit. Well, if you don't have any tits, man, that's not a real like. Get some girl with some huge jugs in there running and saying, "Look, they're not flopping around. My back doesn't hurt," or something like practical. But I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not giving into this. This is a man who dresses like a girl and acts like a child. They should be put in a mental hospital and never heard from fucking. That's my stance at this. And I'm sorry if it sounds crass, but I'm not giving in this. If you're a tranny or a drag queen or some of that shit and you want to be in schools, you can fuck yourself. That's weird. You do if you want to be a tranny at a bar that's 18 and over, go fucking crazy, man. I'll support that. I won't go there, but you do whatever you want. And I won't give you any shit about it. People are like, why are everybody gets you know why we're against this? Is because you're involving kids now. Like, if you've existed forever, you know, why all of a sudden are you doing it at a at schools? At family friendly functions. That's not family friendly, man. The zoo is family friendly. You dressing up like a ridiculous woman with a bunch of makeup and shit and dancing around in the most sexual, provocatively crap you can come up with is not family. That's weird. In front of kids. I'm not even going to say it's weird in front of adults. It's consenting adults go nuts. Kids is fucking weird. Anything with kids is fucking weird in a sexual nature. And men being women or women being men is sexual nature. And that's fucking weird. And you all are, yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not going to, I've tried to be a little bit quiet and not, but I'm just not going to do it anymore. You guys are fucked up and there's a special place in hell for you. And I'm not going to, if you think you have any place in a child's life, you fucking don't. So get out of it. Fucking weird. Like Maybelline. Maybelline, I'm actually a little bit okay with them hiring that dude. Because he wears a lot of makeup. And I mean, what better pitch than, Maybelline? This makeup's so good it covers up my 5 o'clock shadow. If you can cover that up, it's gonna cover up all your blemishes and shit. I mean, I don't know. But it's just I'm done with it. And if you're a woman who still supports this, you're a problem too. Like this man is openly mocking you. And you're no problem equality. You fought so hard for equality, and now you're literally being erased because the spokesperson for Nike Women is a dude. The person who runs the fastest marathon in the women's division is a dude. The most winningest woman on Jeopardy is a dude. The most decorated or the best college female swimmer is a dude. But you guys, women you're not good at anything anymore. There's some bike race in New Mexico or something, maybe Mexico, I don't know, today. A dude won the women's division. Okay? You don't see many women going into dude sports and winning. So, and some of you guys are like, oh, it's okay. It's fair and equal. No, it's not. Nike Women is for women, not some dude prancing around like a fucking idiot. So instead of bitching at white guys for oppressing you, why don't you bitch at the trannies for oppressing you? And the Democrats, because they're the ones that are trying to erase your history. I want you to be a woman. I know women's sports is not nearly as entertaining as men's generally. Okay, there's some women's sports. Like women's tennis is, I can watch that stuff. Things like that. The Olympics, women's swimming. Yes, it's different from the men's, but it's still, there's not like a huge noticeable unless you put a dude in the pool with you and then he beats you guys by like 2 minutes. You're letting them take all this away from you. And I blame, well, yeah, I hate to say it, but a little bit of it is your fault. Because you haven't spoke up and been like, or I'm sorry, not enough of you have spoke up and been like, no, man, we're not letting a dude, I don't care what you identify as, we're not letting a biological male compete in our sport. But you don't. You're just like, oh, well, it's just, we'll all hug and kiss afterwards. Now, a couple girls, there's one swimmer who spoke out, and God love her. Some other people have, but it's not enough. Because, the national media has that swimmer dude on there that he's like, yeah, I'm just a woman. No, you're not, man. You're a dude. Okay? And you're swimming against women, and that's unfair. It's not even close to fair. Just like Dylan Mulvaney, you're a dude, and you're part of Nike Women. No, you're not. You are, but you're not a woman. You're a dude. Dressed like a woman. You're an idiot. And anyone going along with this, you're an idiot. I'm not doing it anymore. This is all just fucking dumb and kiss my ass. Let's see. Oh, last thing, Tucker Carlson's out at Fox News. Never really watched him. Never really watched like Fox News. I mean, I checked their website. I also check CNN though. I want to see what the other guys are saying. Um, from what I hear, huge blow to Fox News. Kind of weird though how it happened, and I'm not sure. I've heard everybody's like, well, it was because of the Dominion thing. If you don't know about that, your opinion is irrelevant. Um, but yeah, I mean, kind of weird. Same. I mean, Don Lemon got fired too, but that's obvious why he got fired. Nobody fucking watches him. Like tons of people watched Tucker, and then he got fired, or they amicably. I don't care. We'll see. He got fired, and then no one watches Fox News. That's kind of dumb on their part, unless they didn't have a say in it. Which I mean, you should have been nicer to him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you let the only part of your network that people watch walk out the door. And I really think it has a lot to do with Tucker Carlson was done capitulating to the masses. Because even right wing media has like downplayed the COVID stuff and all that. Like they spoke out a little bit, but I mean we all know now like the vaccine is fucking useless. It's killing people. If you took it, you should be fucking worried. Okay? Like it's not safe. We all know now, like even the CDC is saying like masks do not work. Like the the coronavirus is so small that it still goes through your surgical mask. Like everything we did is fucking dumb and wrong. A lot of them are backpedaling though, like Randy Weingarten, who is basically Satan on Earth. She's the president of the like the National Teachers Union, is saying that she fought to have students like back in the classroom. She was the number one person against it. Like she did not want kids back in. She did not want teachers back at work around students. Like she liked teachers being at home being paid to do nothing, and students at home becoming dumber and dumber. Okay, she, that was all her. And now she's up there like, oh no, I fought super hard to get kids back in the class. That's a fucking lie. And if you believe it, again, you're part of the problem. And at this point, I don't know how we fix it because, again, you got to think how far we have come. We have a man who dresses like a woman and not very convincingly. Like, it still looks like a man just in women's clothing acting like a 13-year-old girl. And people are like, this is a good idea. I just don't know how we ever got here. But yeah, it's just, I mean, we're rewriting history, like things that happened. Again, they're like, oh, we didn't want lockdown. Yes, you did. You literally said it over and over and over and over and tried to bury it. You were the strongest proponents of all this shit. So yeah, it's been a mess. But I think that's a pretty good round for the first one back. It's good to be back a little bit. I mean, we got to talk sports for a while, which I was happy about. And then we had to go back to the craziness, but it really is like it's just sports and craziness. And if anybody, because the gypsy got on me, she's like, "Oh, it's all politics with you." It's like, yeah, it is, because they have infiltrated and fucked everything in our lives. There is nothing that the Democrats have not fucked up in our lives currently. Nothing. And if you can come up with one thing, I'd love to hear it. But you can't, because they have literally fucked everything in our lives. Not without the help of the Republicans, but yeah, they have fucked us to no end. Pika. Oh, guys, Pika's back. And they're going to be super unhappy here in a minute because Pika, I am wrapping up the podcast. You, you came in right at the end. But I do have good news for you. I'm gonna take a short break, 5-10 minutes, make a cocktail, do my thing, and then I'm gonna hop on Destiny and we're gonna play video games. So if you want to hang around for that, I will be back. And if you need to know the lowdown of where the hell I've been for 2 months, I can shortly explain it to you, or you can listen to the first part of the podcast. Either way, it's good to be back. But like I said, it's not great because we're talking about the same old shit, different day. Uh, but I mean, yeah, it's fun to talk to you guys. So without further ado, I'm gonna head out of here for the podcast. Make cocktail. Probably get a snack. I got some cheddar Chex Mix heading over there. Get set up on the game, and we're gonna play Destiny. I don't know if we're gonna do PvP, no reason to, or Nightfalls, or just fuck around and see what happens. So I don't know. I don't know. Give me 10 minutes or so, folks. Get this squared away. Check in the Nugget score, obviously. Get that set up on one of the monitors up there so I can watch games. And we'll go from there. So again, I appreciate everyone who listens, and we're demonetized on the big platforms. So not anything we did, we just didn't have enough listeners. Okay, they're all going, they want big accounts. But I'm still gonna keep doing this because it's still fun for me. And depending on the Laker game, I don't know when Higgins will be here this week. But I will make sure to get him on here. It will be fun. Until next time, like 10 minutes. I'll see you guys. Bye.